I wanted to take a little bit of time here to talk about the investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission into Donald Trump's Truth Social and the acquisition of that company by Digital World Acquisition. As we all know at this point, it was announced earlier this week that the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, was in fact probing the deal. They didn't want to call it an investigation because it is not an investigation, as they say. They didn't want to imply in any way that they believe any party had actually broken the laws. So the reason I even want to talk about this is to kind of clear the air, because I've seen a lot of other folks kind of jump on this story and, push it out there with, oh my God, look, he's under investigation. They're not. They're not. And I am unfortunately here to throw cold water on everybody's expectations about what's happening with this particular investigation. Now, I have talked to some friends of mine that actually work in the financial industry. What they've told me and what other, articles have said about this is really pro forma stuff. Like, this literally happens all the time, especially when you're dealing with high profile clients and high dollar amounts into the billions. The SEC will usually look at this and say, okay, look, we got a lot of money going around. There's high profile people involved. We're just going to take a look. So give us your documents. We're going to comb through them real quick just to make sure everything's cool. That happens frequently. It is not any indication at all that they even believe any party involved may have committed a crime. However, there is, of course, that little asterisk there. There is a potential for insider trading in trades like this. So that is something that obviously the SEC does want to take a closer look at. And here's how that works. Now, bear with me because finance is very stupid. I hate it, but I've got to try to explain it so everybody can understand. When you have an acquisition company like Digital World, all the people put their money into the company, and then once all the money is in, you don't get to know what's happening before you put your money in. That's the key. So you've put your money into the big pot. Once all the money is in the pot, then they go and make the acquisition. So even if you don't like the acquisition, your money's already in the pot. You're a part of this. You don't get to know what the acquisition is going to be prior to the pot being spent. Likewise, you have to buy the stock before the acquisition target is named. And if anyone was given any kind of information that the acquisition target was going to be Trump's company and then purchased stock afterwards, that would be considered insider trading. Because after all, the shares of this stock started at $10. They jumped all the way up to $97. Now they're hovering somewhere around $47. So from 10 to 96 to 47. It went way up and then it lost half its value. But either way, those are just little bitty things that they look for when they do these, so-called pro forma probes and investigations. There's likely not any kind of criminal conduct here. And I only say that because even though Trump is involved, which would automatically be a giant red flag, he wasn't involved in the financial aspect of it, in the things that are actually being looked at. If he were a target of that, if he were a part of it, I would absolutely say, holy crap, they probably know something's there. But because he wasn't, because this is a legitimate Digital World Acquisition group, they know what they're doing. They know not to run afoul of the laws. Temper your expectations. Don't expect anything from this story. But do expect a lot of already rich people to make a lot of money, and then for this entire project to tank, leaving your average mom and pop Trump supporters losing tons of money. That is the only prediction I am willing to make about what's happening here. Other than that, Trump's going to get money, the investors are going to get money, and I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think we're going to see anybody go to jail for anything involved in this acquisition.